I want to talk to you about Sharia and human rights. Now, when Muslims talk about Sharia, they say, oh, it's just how we practice our religion. But by the time we get through with this talk, you'll see that Islam and Sharia have much more to do than just religion. Now, in 1948, the United Nations put out what was called a Human Rights Charter, and I'm going to compare some elements of the human rights of the United Nations with the Sharia rights. And as you will see, Sharia is not a system that you want to live under, because it is inferior, to be blunt. Let's start off with the beginning. All humans are equal in rights and dignity. Well, I agree with that, but the Sharia says that there are those who don't have dignity. They're the kafirs. The kafirs are worse than animals and are unclean. Human right is to think for yourself, to have your own ideas, and that includes critical thought. But you see, the Sharia demands that critical thought is invalid because you may come up with ideas that violate the Sharia ideas that are found in the Quran and the Sunnah of Muhammad. So therefore, critical thought is inferior in Sharia. As a matter of fact, critical thought under Sharia, if applied the full way, can get you killed. Every person has the right to life, liberty, and security. That's what the United Nations says, and I think that's a human right. But as Europeans are discovering, in Europe, once you have a lot of Muslims on the street at night, your women no longer have liberty and security. So Sharia is wrong to deny these rights. No one should be subject to torture as a human right, but it is wrong to say that humans can be tortured and degraded, which the Sharia does. Muhammad used torture more than once to get information that he needed. So torture is wrong, but it's a Sharia wrong. There should be a uniform law for all citizens. One law for all is the way I like to put it. But Sharia says no, this is not a human right. That in Sharia courts there's a separate way of looking at women, men, believers, and kafirs. So there's not one law for all in Sharia. There's different laws for different classes of people. It is a human right that marriage shall be between consenting adults. The Sharia says, oh, you don't need to be an adult to be married. An old man can marry a young girl. Why? Because Muhammad did it. Well, I maintain that child marriage is wrong and that the Sharia is wrong on this issue. I maintain that the Sharia is also wrong when a man cannot marry a Muslim woman if the man is a kafir. Also, I think Sharia is wrong in that it has different divorce rules for men and women. Everyone has the right to freedom of religion. That's a human right, I believe. And I think it is wrong to kill apostates, but Sharia law allows the killing of apostates. Everyone has the right to freedom of ideas and speech, but Sharia has something called blasphemy laws. And if you violate those blasphemy laws, they can be enforced with death. Everyone has the right of freedom of expression in all forms of expression. But that's a human right maybe, but it is a Sharia wrong because the Sharia says that art is very limited, both in music, in sculpture, and painting. A person's speech should be truthful, particularly under oath. That's a right that we have to expect of human beings. But Sharia says, well now, if you're a Muslim, you can deceive the kafir even under oath. That's wrong. Every wife has the right not to be beaten. It seems to me this is pretty obvious. It's a human right. But the Sharia says, no, not so. If you're a Muslim, you're under certain circumstances allowed to beat your wife. Allah says so and the Sunnah of Muhammad says so. And the Sharia concludes the same. Every child has the right not to have inbred parents. Inbreeding is a crime against the future generations. But Sharia says, oh, that's not a right because we can have first cousin marriage under the Quran and under the Sunnah of Muhammad. I say that is wrong. Let me be clear again. Sharia law is inferior in the matter of human rights, and Sharia law has many demands which have nothing to do with religion, but the fact that Islam is a totalitarian system of thought, particularly in politics. Thank you.